Hey everyone, this is Matt Goldsman from GamersCast, and here's my video on whether or not you should buy Animal Crossing New Leaf for the Nintendo 3DS. Now, keep in mind, I have already played this game far more than enough to make a full review of it, but there's a couple reasons I'm doing this format as opposed to a formal review. One, of course, being that I do not currently own a 3DS capture board. If I did, I would probably be a lot more inclined to do it as with most 3DS games, whereas in this format, I just can't really do it because I would rather have my own footage on screen, whereas here I'm just throwing up whatever footage I can find and having it go along with my voice as sort of like a background to show the game while I'm talking, as opposed to a review I kind of want on screen to match up with what I'm saying. So, and secondly being, I want to sort of ramble a little bit about this game and what makes it what it is, as opposed to the previous Animal Crossing game, City Folk, which I absolutely did not like whatsoever. If you saw my video review on that years ago, you know I was not a fan of it, and I personally think it was the weakest of the series. But I digress. I can confidently say that Animal Crossing New Leaf is the best of the series as of now. Now, I played the original GameCube version, and I played that extensively. I played Wild World, and I played that extensively. I played City Folk for a few hours, got incredibly bored, and then never picked it up again. And this, I broke 50 hours in under 10 days. So, I think that alone says a lot about what I think of this game, as considering I get bored of games very, very quickly. In fact, if I break the 10-hour mark on any game at all, it's pretty rare that happens. So, let's get into it. What I liked about this game a lot is the amount of change in this game. From the surface, it looks like it's relatively the same game as we've played in the past, and it almost is, but that's one of the main reasons I hated City Folk so much, is that I felt like absolutely nothing changed, and the city area was basically a throwaway, and I didn't really feel compelled or really all that engaged with the game, whereas this game, right off the bat, they threw a screwball in there. You're the mayor of the town the second you arrive. And to be honest, it does change the game up quite a bit because it lets you make the town your own. Like, yes, in the past you could plant trees, you could cut down trees to your liking, but you sort of have a much larger scope of control as mayor. So you can make your town look pretty much exactly like you want it. You can put landmarks up where you want it. You can essentially make the town your own. And I also think the game here is laid out and progressed much better. Because in City Folk, I felt like everything was just sort of right out on the table right from the get-go. Whereas this game, I feel like it rewards you for how much you play. For example, you can continue playing the game, and each day, I've been playing this game consistently for the 2 weeks it's been out now already, and I can honestly say there's been something new to do each day, whether it be unlocking an island, unlocking a new section to your house, unlocking a new shop in the main square, new items coming in. There is always something new to be done in this game, and it's paced out and stretched out very nicely, so you feel compelled to continue coming back to the game day after day. And it's a sort of sense about the game that I haven't felt in an Animal Crossing game in quite some time. I don't actually feel like I felt this engaged in the game, in an Animal Crossing game ever, for that matter. So I honestly feel like that is what really sets the series apart. The island area is actually really very, very well executed as well, because not only does it provide you like an additional area in addition to your own town that you can create and make your own, there's also mini games on that island. You can go to a matchmaking online version of the island and play with other players across the globe or in your own region, and you can play mini games with them. You can play it locally. Everything about this game is set up incredibly well and incredibly nicely. I I honestly cannot think of all too many complaints. The only one being that in the very early days, I felt constricted because so much of the game is meant to be unlocked to experience that in the first couple of days, there really isn't much to do once you've done what needs to be done. That being like there aren't that many shops right away. There aren't that many things you can actually do right off the bat. It doesn't really start opening up until after you get the island area that you have this potential to do so much more with the game. Essentially, it gives you a much stronger reason to keep coming back when you have these additional areas that are available to you. But it's done in such a way that it isn't all too frustrating because you're also relatively new to the game at this point, so there's still all the bugs and the fish to collect. And then, of course, there's the online multiplayer element, which is done very nicely. There is no voice chat this time around, which is kind of sad because I was the only person I knew with a Wii Speak, and considering nobody else I knew actually bought City Folk, except for one or two individuals who did not also have a Wii Speak, I wasted $20 on that peripheral. Whereas here, the 3DS has a built-in microphone, but they don't take advantage of it for voice chat. That being said, I don't think I've ever heard I don't know what the quality of the mic actually is, since I can't recall any piece of 3DS software using it, except I think for one of the preloaded bits actually used it, but I didn't actually look into that because I don't know. Most of the preloaded software on the 3DS is a bit of a throwaway, but that's why it is what it is. So maybe there's another reasoning behind why they didn't have voice over IP in the game, but all in all, it doesn't really take away from the experience all too much because there's in-game chat and there's also an in-game chat that you can do when you're not visiting someone's town, so you can still chat with people while you're away from their town as long as you mark them as a quote-unquote best friend. And the best friend system actually works out pretty nicely because you both have to agree to be best friends with each other in order to do the in-game chat with each other. Although you can visit anyone who's on your 3DS friends list, so that's one of the pros of it being the 3DS. There's the non-friend code system, which is very nice. Essentially, all in all, I don't want to ramble on for too long, but I think this is probably the best of the Animal Crossing games. I highly recommend it. I've crossed I think I've played for about 60 hours so far, and there's still so much more that can be done in my game. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of it at this point. There's still tons to do. Overall, I would give it my recommendation, and I would definitely pick it up if you've ever had any interest in the Animal Crossing series, or if you've ever played and enjoyed a previous Animal Crossing game, then I would recommend getting this.